They're the crypto punk-like NFTs that are making waves in the community right now. The art looks cool and the price floor is very strong. Let's jump in and check out the Humanoids. First up, I want to say if you could like up the video, it really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. Also, there's chapters down below so you can fast forward to the sections that you want to get the information that you need and help you navigate the video easier. This is not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research before jumping into the NFT space. First up, let's have a look at the website and a project overview. So the Humanoids is a collection of 10,000 unique humanoids who live on the Ethereum blockchain. Basically, this is a 10,000 profile picture project, and here's a look at what the artwork looks like, so you can kind of see it's got that punk style about it. And the reason that I really like this artwork is when you have a look at it, it doesn't actually just look like it's 3D generated. It looks like someone's actually made these models by hand and then taken photos of them, which is really cool, which I like the concept of them. They were sold for 0.08 ETH each. When we get to the roadmap, it's a pretty standard roadmap where they've got airdrops, raffles, donations, sort of exclusive merch stores, everything you would expect with a roadmap, so don't look too much into it. FAQs, pretty standard as you would get. What would have been nice here is that on the bottom of the page, they usually have a team section. At the bottom of this page, there is no team section. It just says you can contact the team on Discord. So that's one thing that is missing, but overall, it's not a deal breaker. When we jump over and have a look at their Twitter, what we can see here is that they've got almost 20,000 followers, which is nice. And then in terms of their tweets, you can see here that they're retweeting sort of a meme type post here by one of the community, and they're kind of retweeting and engaging with their community. Now look, most projects will engage and retweet and do all that kind of stuff, but especially after a drop, if they're keeping up that frequency with it, it's really nice to see. So that's a good aspect when it comes to this project. When we have a look at their Discord, we can see here that they've got 45,000 people in their Discord, which is nice. So it means with this 10,000 item project, there's a bunch of community that can't get their hands on one, which can help keep those secondary sales nice and strong. Now, when we have a look at their Opensea, what we can see here is we've almost got that 50% ownership, but we'll touch on this when we head over into Nansen, and the floor price of 0.8, which is really, really nice to see. When we have a look at the buy now, what we can gather from here is we've got 0.81, 0.83, 0.839, 0.85, and very sharply we can get up to a 0.9. So the price floor on this can rise quite fast, but it comes to the volume of transactions. Having a look at Nansen, we can see here that the Humanoids was deployed 13 days ago, but we can see that the public sale was on the 4th of October. There was this giant run up, huge volume, and the volume is currently dropping off. We can't take anything away from this day because this day has just started and we need to see a close. When it comes to the average price, that average price is sitting quite strong. When we come and have a look at the price range, we can see that the average price, which is in the middle, it kind of run up to that 1.6 and then it's kind of flattening off now. One good thing to take away is that even though the minimum price is kind of quite jagged up and down, it is still quite holding strong, and we're currently getting to some kind of convergence. This isn't the actual convergence because this day had just started, so we've got to see where this goes, but it's nice that it is kind of coming together, which to me shows that there's going to be a little bit of price stability. Having a look at the individual transactions, what we can see here is we'll drop the extreme outliers, and what we've actually got is this was the initial kind of dip down, then it kind of come up and it's sitting quite flat. Now it's nice to see that after the public sale, it is just sitting quite flat in terms of that average price. This is nice to see because it shows that there are a lot of buyers. So if the price does wick down, there are people down there ready to sort of snap up some bargains and continue. And when it comes to the individual transactions and buys, we can see here that it's kind of had these two peaks and now it's starting to taper off. And I believe it's starting to taper off because we've hit that 50% mark of unique ownership, which is very nice to see and shows some strength when it comes down to this project. If we head over and check out the top balances, what we can see here is that the top balance, bob.eth, has got 160. Then we've got 74, 55, 55. And then when we bump across, what we can see here is that once it kind of gets to around that 10 mark, it kind of has a nice linear path down. So there are some very heavy, big bag holders when it comes to this project, but overall, it kind of tapers off quite nicely. Coming down to the top balances over time, what we can see here is that overall, it looks like it's in an uptrend. There has been a couple of people that have kind of let go some of their holdings, but overall, it looks like the consensus is an uptrend of the top balances over time. Having a look at the unique addresses, what we can see here is that we have that sharp uptick when it got to the public sale, and then from there it's steadily increasing. It's looking like it might kind of taper off, but we can't actually tell much here because this day is still open. But overall, it is in a slight uptrend, which is nice to see. When it comes to the percentage of people holding one of the NFTs only, this is a nice chart to look at. It's in a constant uptrend, which is good because it means that people that are holding multiple of one, they're offloading to the people that are buying one and holding on to one, which is good because it shows that the community is expanding. Now, when it gets to the balance of the diamond hands, what we can actually see here is that the sharp price increase in the beginning, people would have offloaded some of their holdings because there are people that are holding a lot more than one, and then it's kind of tapered off and flattened out. And it's nice to see that this is kind of just sitting quite flat. So it's nice to see that this chart is flat because it shows that the people that are holding are looking like they're going to be holding long term, or until we get an absolutely crazy run up in price. Now, the next part is the exciting part, and that comes down to the profit leaderboard. So what we can see here is the top profit is 21. Then we get 21, 18, 15, 15, and then we get down to 12. Now, what I'm taking away from this chart is that this guy has bought 4, sold 1. The next guy bought 3, sold 2. The next guy bought 26, sold 22. So what I'm taking away from this chart is the people that have actually made some big flips have sold their rare ones. They've made some really big bag, but they're still holding onto a little bit, showing that they've got some belief in this project and a lot of run up when it comes to where it can go. Because if they really didn't believe in the project, they would have offloaded their whole bag. But these top profit takers who have made some serious dollars are holding onto it to kind of see where it goes and see where they can ride it. Having a look at the top 5 buying addresses, what we can actually see here is we can see here where people are buying in at. Now, this chart looks very different from other charts that we usually see because there's usually clumps in areas where we can kind of see where people are buying in. This is very sporadic, all over the place. Now, the reason I believe it's like this is that the artwork is so different and unique that people are getting something that they believe will have more value in the future because they are so different. Unlike a standard project where people are just kind of buying anything, I feel like this looks like where people are making thought out purchases for what they actually want. Scrolling down to the legendary collectors when they're buying, we can see here that it is kind of clumping up around that 0.8 to 1 mark, which is nice to see, which makes me think that legendary collectors kind of see it sitting above that 1 mark for a long period of time. And then scrolling down to the recent transactions, and this is where we could see how fast the price floor could be moving. Over a period of 2 hours, we've got 10 sales. If we then bump across, over a 3-hour period, I think we could get up to a price floor of 0.9 quite easy. So taking away from this is that over a 1-day period, that price floor could move up to around that 1.1, which would be nice to see for some of those holders. So at least here, this gives you an indication of where the price floor could be moving over a short period of time. So overall, what do I think of Humanoids? When I look at this, I really love the art. I really kind of like the style and aesthetic of this. I also like the charts and the pricing statistics that we've got. And I'm actually kicking myself because I remember seeing it when I could have gotten it for around that 0.4 and I just never pulled the trigger. But the idea is like I almost slept on this project and I've missed out. And that personally is making me a little bit salty towards the project because I've missed out on something that's really great. I feel like I would be missing out if I bought in at the current floor price. It's one of those projects where I hit the buy now, but I never actually hit the checkout, which makes me kind of a little bit hesitant, and I don't want to play with the emotions and FOMO into a project. If you're holding a humanoid, I would hold on to this and let it ride up to a 1.5 ETH. That's where I feel like we might kind of start to see a bit of profit taking and a bit of a ceiling. But saying that, the community behind it is quite large, and I think there are people ready to kind of buy in if the price does drop. So if you are looking for a price drop, I would set up some alerts and pay very close attention to where the price of Ethereum is and where the humanoids are to see where you can find that equilibrium and balance, because I do believe that if we get down to a 0.5, there are going to be people there ready to snap it up straight away because it is showing some strength close to this 1 ETH floor. So overall, I hope you found value in this video. If you did, please consider subscribing. Also, if there's any projects you'd like me to check out, drop in a comment below or jump over onto my Discord and then we can kind of have a chat there. It's a little bit easy to kind of respond to any questions that you have in the Discord. And then also I can then make videos like this because I can kind of get a consensus from the community on what videos I should do next. As always, it's been a pleasure having you with me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.